Before I begin, I want to say that um, I was not in class due to surgery, so I won't be able to cover the class topics. And also, I'm currently bedridden, so I wasn't really able to get a picture of the International Space Station. So hopefully, I get some mercy on that. And as for my Voyager 1 distance, that is 25,401,300,607 kilometers from Earth. Um, just reading through the text, um, that really surprised me because I honestly thought the Voyager 1 was somewhat of a newer contraption or thing project. I didn't expect it to be like something that was done before the 2010s. um, I thought that was pretty incredible. And like, just looking over the content of that was in our reading, it just really kind of disappoints me how commercialized today's space exploration has become. I feel like so many of our great inventions and innovations have come from the need and the want to go into space and study the aspects of space, and really what it means for us as a society. I mean, if you look back on many great discoveries and inventions and such, a lot of it has come from wanting to explore space and understand space. Um, the theory of relativity, the Big Bang theory, the picture the of the black hole that was discovered a few years ago, um, just stuff like that. It's really kind of disappointing how now a lot of it is kind of it's been sort of taken over by billionaires wanting to make it their own like plaything. Um, Although I do think Elon Musk had a pretty cool set of ideas when he first came to the scene. I feel like he's really like strayed away from a lot of his morals and his ideals when it comes to dealing with space exploration. And I feel like realistically, it shouldn't be a matter that is put into the hands of billionaires. I feel like it should be put into the hands of NASA and international space organizations. Um, just looking through the um, the the contents of the book, I thought the Mars rover was really cool. I thought I'd never heard of the Jupiter exploration. Um, I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was pretty interesting how they talked about how a lot of bacteria and stuff can grow um, more in space. I felt like that should be. I don't really know how that works, but I also don't really understand how bacteria or space works as a reality. I mean, as a concept. Um, but I feel like those are things that we should be doing. I feel like obviously Jupiter is a gas giant, and we don't really have a way of colonizing it or looking to do anything with it. But I mean, there could be some possibilities that we can do with it. I feel like um, if there's that much gas, if there's that much heat being produced on the surface of the planet, maybe hundreds of thousands of years down the line, a future colony can find some way to harness that type of energy, that type of heat. You know, we already utilize a lot of steam power today in basically all of our power plants. So why not try and take advantage of something that's essentially just a giant ball of steam? Um, I thought the Hubble Space Telescope was really cool. I didn't know it was launched in the 90s. Again, I thought it was more of a 2000s sort of thing, but that was really interesting to me to see that we had that type of capabilities in the 90s. Um, and another thing that I hadn't heard before is the Chandra X-ray Observatory. I didn't like um I feel like that's something that we should have learned about equally as much as the Hubble Space Telescope. Um, Maybe it's because of the fact it's named after an Indian um, scientist that we aren't really well accustomed to it, which I think is wrong. But that's a whole another thing. Uh, it's just it's just interesting to see what kind of things that we get that are picked and choose when we're talking about like uh, the education of space exploration. Um, I think a lot of the things that that um that involve with um space travel is really important. I feel like as a society, it really pushes our understanding of our physical world to understand what is in our universe, not just what is in our world. I feel like as a just in general, it's a pretty naive uh, statement to say, but I feel like we understand most of the concepts that we have like on Earth. We can only expand on those aspects. I feel like a greater, like more intrinsic, more intuitive uh, form of science is the understanding of our universe and how we can use that understanding to expand the reaches of our own world. Um, Obviously, I think that's important. I think that colonization of other other planets is important, but at the moment, I feel like it's not what should be on the forefront of our task list. I think a lot of stuff concerning global warming, sustainability, and just really just trying to get along with everybody else on the planet is a more important task at hand. But I think the fact that we've been straying away towards um, space travel as a whole is just a really big letdown. I feel like it's something important that we've kind of set to the side. And I mean, nowadays we have a lot of more improved technology, and they were able to do a lot of stuff um, back then, a lot of crazy, incredible stuff that was able to show us a lot of the galaxy. I know we've been expanding like our view and what we've been able to view around the galaxy, but I feel like, it should be something that should be more heavily sought after rather than being like taken over by private companies. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the reading. I know I really wasn't able to talk on anything talked about in class because I wasn't there or get a picture of the International Space Station, which I think is a really interesting concept and should be something that should equally be explored more. I feel like being able to create some sort of space station has a lot of like intrinsic value to it, whether it be used for military or just general purpose research. I feel like the International Space Station is something that we should be looking to expand. I know that there was a group of scientists, or I think it was two scientists, that were stuck on the International Space Station for a while. And that was another thing that concerns private companies was because NASA didn't have the funding or didn't have the technology to reach the International Space Station, they were left up there for a lot longer than they should have and had to um, look for the help of Tesla. I feel like we can we can um, value a lot in expanding our funding to NASA. So that's just my thoughts on this topic on space exploration.